Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. We recently did a quick review on the BFG tyres and why they last so long or why they don't, and all the reasons why are going to be included in this video. These tyres have done 10,000 Ks and they're like new still. Look at all the dots on them, I'll tell you why. No, just joking, this is the Hilux. But there's important information, and this is the starting point because these tyres have only done a few hundred Ks, less than 1,000 I believe. And if you can see those round dots there, and they're also in the middle as well. They might be hard to spot, but I've spotted them anyway. So these tyres are as good as new as far as kilometres go. Let's find some in the middle. Might be hard to find actually, a bit dirty. Other side. Moved over the other side. I don't know why, but you know, you can see some damage. These have been, even though they've done not many Ks, we've had them on low pressures and up a really rough track, and you can see where the grip equals rip and it damages the tyre. And things are going to get a lot worse, don't you worry. But what I wanted to show you to demonstrate how new they are, and it's going to be really hard to see, we're going to try and get in there. I can see a dot, a round dot there. Can you see that? You can sort of see that there. I'll just use the ruler here to, where was it? About, I can't even tell, mate. Is it there or something like that? Anyway, hopefully you can see it, because I saw a few before I started with the camera. But bloody, unless you've been driving on the blacktop and they're really, there we go, here we go, I can see them now, see them again. Right in the middle of the tyre, right? So I'm going to go in to show you the middle, right? Because people are concerned. There's the circles there. There's people putting all these comments saying, oh, you know, they're rubbish, they only last 30,000, and that's why I did that video. And there's some people still going, oh yeah, that's true. And I'm misleading people, because if you've got the wrong tyre pressure, they'll be not worn in the here, but they'll be worn in the middle. So we're going to give you the exact measurements on the Prado in a moment, because in 10,000 Ks, there's virtually no wear on the whole tyre, right? We're going to show you the evidence, don't worry. And then you can make, because this is what we do. I swear on the Bible, once again, to give you the genuine, 100% true, accurate information. Nobody's buying me tyres or paying me to do a review for you. I am doing the review for you to give you the real information. Be careful about what you find out about the truth, because there's a lot of things you need to know about, right? So we can agree that there's the circle. So they must be pretty bloody new if they've got that, even though we've taken them out and given them a good hammering already, right? So let's now measure. Let's do a measurement with a ruler, because most people have got a ruler. We're going to sit the camera sort of pretty flat like that and put it in, right? You can see what I'm doing, right? You can see there's about, would you agree, there's about 10 mil. There's a bit of a shadow there. I know it's hard to see, right? But 10 mil, right? 10 mil. Let's go to the side here, right? There it is again, right? Right. You can see the 10 mil, right? Stopping about there. Right, there it is, right? They're your new tyres. Now you know what BFG 265 65 17s, right? Now, people talk about pressures and that. That's true, because if you, I've said in other videos, and if you're not watching them, you're missing out on a lot of info. So subscribe, turn the bell, and get yourself educated. If you overinflate the tyres, they wear mostly in the middle of the tyre, right? And it tapers off towards the edges. If you underinflate them, they'll wear poorly on the edges and less wear in the middle, okay? I'm not going to go into the detail why that is if you can't figure it out at the moment. So we've been running Prados and BFGs for like a long time, let's say, right? On and off, decades or a decade or many years in recent times. And we know that a heavy Prado like our 120 with BFG tyres on about 40 psi, might be 38 to 42, 44, depending on load, but thereabouts, that's what wears these tyres evenly across the whole tread. Now beware, because other makes and models of tyres are different. Like we had run some Mickey Thompsons at one stage, and at 40 psi, when they were, I think, 14 mil depth of tread new, which tyres, they reduce them, because then they don't last as long for you, right? You know how it works, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like the packet of Smith's chips went from 250 grams, 230, 220, 200, 180, 170, whatever it is. It's probably down to 150. It is on the Tasty Cheese, weren't they awesome? Those Tasty Cheese ones, yummo. If you got any of those, you can come and see me, we'll share them together. But the point is, they reduce the size of the chips and put the price up, but to put less price rises, they reduce the size. So what do you do with the tyre? If you got 14 mil, you take it down to 10, and guess what? You need to buy more tyres more often, don't you? Cha-ching, cha-ching, right? But the point of the measurement was, at a short amount of Ks, let's say 10 or 20,000, let's say closer to 20, we'd have, I'm just giving a measurement example, in the middle we'd only have 10 mil left, but at the sides we'd still have 12, right? So they were wearing more in the middle because at 40 was overinflated, so they needed to be reduced down if you wanted to get even tyre wear. Now, there's a whole lot of factors on what you should take into account to choose what tyre pressure you should run at, and every tyre is different. So we're not going into that in this video. This is the review on how long and I'm going to also tell you why there's all these people complaining about tyres slipping around in the wet and once they're half worn. We're going to go into that a little bit, but let's show you a set of tyres that have done, you know, let's bring this light over. Let's do it now, right? Well, here's the other vehicle. Here it is. There's the tyres. There they are. 10 days ago. Hang on. Let's have a look. How do we know how many Ks they've done? We look, right? 9,895. If you've been watching the videos, most people know that these tyres were new and they went on at about 1,000 Ks, right? There they are, right? There they are. And we did a recent video, let's say. Let's see if we can get this light up here somewhere and get that to stay there. That'd be handy. Look at that, beautiful. And we pointed out that, like on the other tyres, see, look at this, 10,000 Ks, right? Is this crazy? We've got people telling us that these tyres are flogged in 30,000 Ks, but you've got other problems if that's the experience you're having, right? And we've got a set here that have done 10,000 Ks, right? And we can still see the lines from the mould, from the manufacturer. Can you see that line there? Let's just do this again, right? We did a video, I think, what had the tyres done? About 6,000 Ks or something? On the clock, maybe 6 or 7 or 5, I don't know. It was about 6, I'll say. So they'd done about 5,000 Ks. And you could still see the lines on the side, right? They've got some little letters and stuff on there as well on some of the blocks. They're long gone, right? 10,000 Ks, right? So all that little flat stuff's long gone, but I'm just trying to clean this one a bit to show you. I just want to be really clear. See that line there? There's normally a line that kind of goes, it's just part of the mold, and kind of goes like that, right? There's a little bit there still, right? But people, so I've got to do more videos because people don't want to accept whatever you want to say, right? The evidence. This is the evidence, right? Here's the tyre. It's done 10,000 Ks, right? So let's do the measurement. Now you just saw what you'd have to agree that it was a near new tyre. I showed you all the little round things on the other tyre over there. These tyres, these are a few months old, you know. Those other ones, they're only a little bit newer. We'll go and show you some on the 120 because they're pretty new. So we've got 3 vehicles with these tyres that are all pretty new at the moment, okay? That's how much we like them for off-road grip and reliability in the outback, and many people will back me up on how reliable, and that's why they use them and they wouldn't use anything else. Check the comments in all the videos. But you want the measurement, right? Just like we did before. There it is. 10 mil, isn't it? Let me get around this side. Hang on. Right? Looks like there's no wear to me. 10 mil. Oh, hang on a minute. I could have the wrong pressure and they're worn in the middle, not the sides. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, well, let's have a look. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Right? Look at that. 10 mil. Right? Do you think there's a trick here? Is this like a magician's thing, you know, where they do magic trick? I do a magic trick? No, mate. There's no magic trick. See the line? Watch it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There it is, right? 10 mil. So there's no measurable wear on this tyre, okay? No measurable wear in almost 10. It's 9,000 Ks, isn't it, right? Ballpark numbers. 9,000 Ks, no wear. So what does that tell you? If these have got 10 mil, right? Even if it had worn 1 millimetre, which apparently it hasn't, we've got the measurement right here in front of us. I'm going to tell you why this is all happening. So stick around, subscribe, turn the bell on if you want to get all the best information, because this is what we're doing. It's genuine, honest, no cash for comment here. It's what it is. Mate, I'd love it if BFG saw this and started sending me tyres, because I could test and show you even more tyres. And other tyre manufacturers, if you think you got something good, feel free to send me some tyres to try and test, and if we don't like them, we'll only tell you. We won't talk about it, so we're not going to tell everyone these are crap. What we're going to do, we're going to tell you, and if you listen and fix and whatever, and then you give me another set, when I find products or things that you've sent me to test for my review, I'm going to tell everybody how good it is. Like this, BFG is selling millions and millions of tyres now, right? And guess what? I've got some influence there. They're making heaps of money out of me, and I'm not getting a cent, because I'm just telling the truth, and giving you will receive, and that's how I roll, and it works for me, okay? So you've seen it, 10 mil. Let's go to the front tyre, because this is all important information. Let's go to the front tyre. We didn't bring the light, but it doesn't matter. Now this is the right-hand front. Because of the cornering, the roundabouts and that, which if you take it easy on the roundabouts, it's going to last longer. Look at this. This is the front tyre that someone's saying, oh, you know, you're misleading people, right? What's good about this line here, see that? It tells us our wheel alignment is bloody awesome, right? If you can drive 9,000 k's and still have that little mould line, and is it on the inside? Because you want to see a little bit on both sides, because if you've got it on one side and wear on the outside, that's a good looking amount of no wear. Trying to find those lines on the inside, I'm getting pretty dirty here. I probably need to get a damp cloth. Look, they might not be there, but you know, let me see. Can we see anything? I don't know. It's hard. We've got great, like I said, you need to drive on really clean blacktop, but I can tell you, right, it was there at the last review video at about 6,000 k's. Mate, do we need to measure it? There's already a line there. Do we really need to put the rule in there and see, is it going to make any difference? Nothing's going to make any difference. You know, you've got 10 mil. There's no wear. Oh, you want to check the middle again? You want to see in case there was a trick on the other? Still 10 mil, right? So stop telling me I don't know how to put the right pressures in tyres. Oh, but you know, you're misleading people. Mine are flogged in whatever. No, the evidence is right here, people. I've showed you the odometer reading. You've seen the videos. You know the tyres have been on. We're in Melbourne, Victoria. The vehicle has been up to North Queensland and back, right? You can see it's been on some dirt tracks. You can even see evidence. Car's had a quick wash, not a good wash. There's evidence of on the tyres, right? Let's go and have a look at this back one again, right? Not a lot. We've, you know, put the cleaner up around here and give it a bit of a clean, but you can see there's been a bit of dirt roads, but yes, mainly blacktop. So this is a good blacktop tyre wear review, if you like. Now, why? So why is this happening? Let's get this light out of here. Why is this happening? Why? They want to know why. Okay, tell you why. It's simple. It's a new vehicle, okay? So it hasn't got wear and tear in the suspension components. It's got some awesome Dobinson suspension, which is all part of the package, right? Keeping the wheels on the ground, right? Believe it or not, if you've got flogged suspension, whether it's the dampeners, that's what shockers or struts, coilovers, whatever you want to call it. If the tyres are bouncing up and down on the road, you're going to get bad wear. If you've got worn bushes, you're going to get bad wear. If you took it to someone for a wheel alignment, there's a good chance you're going to get bad wear, okay? Now, when you went and got your new tyres and they said, oh, you know, you must have a wheel alignment, well, you know, this is part of the problem because too many people can't do wheel alignments right. So I've said it before, be very careful where you go. Now, so this is why if you look at the comments in that other video, which is very popular, which is why I'm adding a bit more information to it because I feel it's the right thing to do. You know, you get 90% of people, it seems, going, oh yeah, I love them, they're great, no issues, and all these people, I'm not having any issues in the wet. Guess what? I've got 3 cars here, mate. I've just been driving. You know what? You know what they said about Queensland? Beautiful one day, perfect the next. You're dreaming, mate. All that we got since we left Victoria is rain, and more rain. Queensland is the wet state, mate. It's wet as anything. New South Wales, obviously, sorry to the people that have been affected by the floods and that, but what I'm saying here is it's wet. Queensland, New South Wales, as soon as we start heading south, it's wet, right? Melbourne, nice warm weather, 22, 23, sunny today. Before we left, it was about 30. There's been hardly any rain. We've had about 20, 25 mil of rain in the last month. We actually need some, but it's been very wet for the last couple of years. We're going off topic here, but the point is, I've been driving in the wet like a madman trying to get these tyres to slide, and I got no issues, right? Okay. Then you've got the people that say once they get half worn, they're rubbish. Well, that may be true. Depends how old they are. We know rubber deteriorates, is affected by lots of things. Now, one of them, obviously, is age, and the rubber's, you know, not as good anymore, and then it's not sticky and grippy and that sort of thing. That's one thing that happens. Now, if you don't have a good wheel alignment, for example, when you turn your front wheels, did you notice when they turn, they go lean on an angle as well? So you haven't got as much of this rubber on the road to make contact. So that combined with possibly high pressures could be what part of your problem is. So there's a number of factors you've got to take into account. You can't just blame the tyres. Now, at this point, I want to say, these are definitely not the best road tyres for driving around on the blacktop in the wet. No, they could be one of the worst, but they're perfectly acceptable. It's not a problem to use these tyres in the wet if everything's right. And that's why the new vehicle is a good example to show you how. They don't slide around in the wet. They don't wear out. As long as you set everything up right and drive the vehicle right, happy days, you won't have any problems. Now, I'm going to throw this in here at the moment. Our 120, the wheel alignment might not be the best because when the road's wet, I can come to a big, rutted, slippery, flogged out road surface roundabout. You know, your typical where just about anything's going to slide, and I can get massive understeer. Yep, you're going straight ahead, sunshine. So guess what you have to do? You have to slow down a bit more like what you should have anyway. You can't drive like a madman in the wet with BFG tyres with an average wheel alignment. Now, so the factor is the wheel alignment the tyre pressure and the tyre wear. We already mentioned it, the suspension here, right? We've got awesome suspension, awesome control, including on the front, the Dobson's monotubes. Not trying to sell you those. If you want some, go get some. You can go to any Dobson shop you like, or if you want to support me for being genuine and giving you the right information, you can get kits through me on Tuesdays. Just shoot me a text message. Check out our playlist. It's called How to Buy My Kits, and that'll give you all the information you need. Search the things you want on our channel and you'll find them. So, if you've got a good wheel alignment and you've got, let's say you've had maybe say you've got a 120 or an old 150 and it's been around, it's done 300,000 Ks, things are a bit flogged. It's probably mostly not your suspension components. It could be your shockers or your struts that need replacing. But once the tyres are damaged, okay, and when I say damaged, they could be feathered off a bit. They could have chunks out of them. Let's have a look at another. Here's a good one to have a look at. This one is going to grip absolutely rubbish in the wet. This is the type of tyre that you can't rely on in the wet. Why? Okay, it's a few years old, right? It's been hammered in all sorts of different conditions. The rubber's harder. It's just not there. So firstly, what you've got to look at is see the angle. So you got higher at this side, lower at that side. So it's kind of like feathered. So what's making contact with the road is this side here, and it tapers off. And same thing, and that's, if you look at it there, it's about 20% of your tyre not making good contact. So that's your first problem. Then you've got all these chips. So where you had all this contact before, look at all the chips out of them. This has done massive off-road wear. This has been Outback Australia trips a number of times. Outback New South Wales, South Australia, WA, Northern Territory, heaps of dirt roads, heaps of rough stuff, right? But the point is you've got all this wear and all these chips out of them, right? And both sides, it's feathered on both sides of the tyre, right? It's not flat. It's got chunks missing out of it. Look at this one. This is like, it's like low at this side height. This is rubbish, okay? This tyre, it's good for a spare tyre. Oh, look, it's a spare tyre here, right? It's good for, it's not even good, but it's okay for a spare tyre, because if I was to get a flat tyre, I'm going to repair it, and then at the next stop, I'm going to replace the tyre. The spare tyre is the spare tyre. This holds air. It does the job to get you out of anywhere. When you consider a lot of vehicles have what they call a space saver, it's like a wheelbarrow tyre. If that does the job, then you know this tyre will do the job. Now, each to their own how good a spare you want to keep on the back. To me, it just sits in the sun, it deteriorates. You never use it. It makes tyre rotations complicated. But that's another video, so subscribe, turn the bell on if you don't want to miss it. But just here you can see these are quite feathered, right? You know, I mean, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but they're really badly feathered. Unlike these right here, and that's precisely why you're having traction problems. So you've had some wear issues, whether it's overinflation, underinflation, flogged bushes, which is unlikely because we're talking Toyotas here, bad wheel alignment, which is more likely if you've had a wheel alignment. It's highly likely you've had a bad wheel alignment. Might not drive that well. It might even drive good and have bad alignment. You could have, you've left your suspension into long tyres bouncing around, and you might not even notice it. You may see some vehicles where it's bouncing around really badly, but yours might not be doing that, but it's creating a lot of wear. So you've got to make sure you've got your right tyres, your right wheel alignment, all your bushes are good, your suspension included is good, and if everything's good, you're going to get awesome wear like this. It's a fact. You're looking at it. It's happening now. Now, if you look at the comments on the other video, you'll see there's heaps of people that have been around a long time, decades and decades, and they know how reliable these are in the Outback. They know how grippy they are on the tracks. You can see it's a grippy tread pattern, okay? That's what I said. It's called grip. You've either got grip, and then they're going to get ripped, or you've got no grip, and it's going to, because it slips, right, or something like that. I know it sounded good at the time anyway. Do you get me? This is a sort of grippy tread pattern, not aggressive. I'm not calling it aggressive. And some people say, oh, and I've got these tyres and they're really quiet. Guess what? These are silent. They're quiet as anything. I think I need a drink. Getting a bit excited. If you've got noisy tyres, you've got a bad wheel alignment or wrong tyre pressures, and that's causing you a problem, and you've rectified all that, have you? Oh, that's great. But your tyres are damaged now. As we demonstrated, once you've lost that awesome flat, this is what's gripping on the road. What you've got is, this is what's here, this is all you've got, which is less than some other passenger car tyres, right? These might be a little bit wider, you know, 265, whatever, same size, but they might be a little bit wider. So even though you've got these big gaps, they compensate by being wider, having a bit more rubber, because it's just a matter of how much rubber have you got contacting the road. And that's why tyre pressures are important as well, because the harder the tyre is, the only part of the tyre making contact is that small footprint at the bottom, a few inches. the flatter the tyre is, that becomes longer. Not wider, not really wider at all, not much at all, hardly changes. It's the length, okay? The other factor is temperature. So higher tyre pressures keeps the tyre cooler. So if you run your tyres at 42, 46, 48, and you're in a cold climate, they're cold. They can be slippery. Tyres are designed to work at a certain temperature, so you need to get them warmed up before they become grippy. Therefore, lower pressures, it's going to give you a longer footprint is one thing, and also it's going to let it warm up a bit more to operating temperature. And if you don't go off-road and you're not worried about reliability of the tyre in the outback or grip out on the tracks, then these are certainly most likely the best tyre for you. If you're worried about on-road grip in the wet or the dry, and these are going to get you a lot better economy, I'll give you a few reasons why. These are the standard grandtrek tyres that got the name Grand Crap, but they're actually not that crap at all because they perform in every way and they're even not too bad off-road. So if you're just going out every now and then on the tracks, a bit of dirt road locally on the weekends, these will do the job. If you're going to do gnarly tracks with rough, sharp rocks and whatever, these are not the tyres for the job, although you might get lucky. Funnily enough, all this rubber, it actually, when it's deflated, it does flex around, wrap around rocks and get the job done okay, but you're certainly not going to have anywhere near as much grip compared to those KO2s. Of course, there's tyres in between and you can choose those. See, to me, this is the compromise, right? And this is one extreme to the other, and there's anything in between. But for me, I don't want to have a tyre that's in between. I want the ultimate reliability in the outback and the ultimate grip without compromise, because driving in the wet and on the blacktop, that's easy. Anyone can do that. I can do that with my eyes shut and my hands tied behind my back. Well, you know, almost. Do you get what I mean? So there's more rubber here. There's less gaps in between. There's enough to get most of the water out, but not all of it, you know. You can see these have done about 1,000 Ks. They still last really well. You can see the little divots there. You can see some more over here. So these have got less tread to start off with, so they're not going to last as long. So they're cheaper, but are they really cheaper? That's the question, because the other tyres, the KO2s, what do we say, 10 mil, you can't expect to wear them out. So the problem we've got is we haven't even used 1 millimetre of rubber in 10,000 Ks. So that would confirm that the tyres could possibly last 100,000 Ks on the blacktop, which is going to be longer than what these will last. But some people, once again, with the right wheel alignment and tyre pressures, have reported some really high kilometres on these, close to 100,000. Put it in the comments if that's you. Let us know what year it was, how old the tyres were, how many Ks you did. Like, put the detail. Keep it short, but just say, I brought a 2012 Prado, I left the tyres on, and by 2016 I had done 89,000 Ks and the tyres had 3 millimetres left. That's all we need to know, okay? So, guys, love your stories, but in the comments, please no swearing. If there's swearing, often it's not going to go up or stay there. So please don't swear. Just keep it cool, be nice, and share your experiences, help each other out, and just share the real information. And I'll keep reading some of the comments, and when you say that the KO2s are lasting 30,000 Ks, I'll make videos like this because there's enough evidence in the last video, even more in this one. And we've got videos that make KO2s look bad, which just shows, once again, the evidence that, you know, we don't give a stuff what tyres you buy. I could have a tyre shop and sell you all sorts of tyres. But look, we just can't do everything, and we're just not that greedy. We're not that into it where we need to be a Toyota dealer and be an ARB shop and be a tyre shop, because I know that you love what I do for you, and if I had these places, I know you'd be all over it. But the problem is we just can't get enough of the right people to keep it good if we did that. So if there's a business person out there that's got money, that wants to invest, that's confident that they can get all the employees and they want to employ me to get all the best people and make sure the business is the best on the planet, then make contact as always, because we're into helping people and we do a genuine, awesome job is what we want to do. So on road, you've got a lot more rubber there. That's why it grips better on road. It's pretty obvious, right? It's narrower. See the tread width? Now, they call the tyre 265, right? Let's just not spend too much time on this, but the 265 is out to the section width of the tyre, right? 265 is from there out to there. Your tread width doesn't start till about here. Tread width, right? From there to there. So it doesn't count that. So that tyre might only be 180, 190, 200 millimeters wide at the tread width, and that's what you've got for grip. Now those KO2s, they might be the same size, but they might have a straighter sidewall and have a wider tread diameter. So when you look at your tyres, also look at the tread diameter. Now, I note that a lot of people talk about some other brands of tyres and how good they are, but I'll also take a note that most of these people, they're comparing tyres on road. So they're going, oh, those tyres are crap, those KO2s. I've got whatever's now and I'm really happy with them. The thing is, they're on the blacktop, they drive on some dirt roads, they haven't had them that long. We're talking decades of experience on these KO2s. They've been around since, I don't know if it was even, they've been around longer than me. Yeah, you know, that was 1970s. They've been around since before that. They're a bloody good tyre. Look around, a lot of people use them. And I'm just trying to explain why you might have had some problems. There's other reasons. It's not just the rubber, but certainly all tyres, including these ones, as they get older, this rubber deteriorates. Heap of factors, you know, the heat, the heating, cooling. They're out in the sun. They're getting all the debris off the road, contamination. And the wear, as we explained before, even these are going to get a bit feathered. So when that outside edge there, which once again, it's still about 20% of the tyre, once they get feathered off on each side from going around, if you tear around roundabouts and corners, you're just wearing out your tyres and you're reducing their ability to do their job the best they can. You've damaged the tyres, okay? So you've got to look after your tyres. I know it's a long video, but I hope it's answered all aspects. If it hasn't, there'll be another one, and we'll just keep covering all these answers to these questions and help everybody understand why these things happen. I love these tyres. They're narrow, they're light, so they've got less rolling resistance, they're lighter, and they save a heap of fuel. That's why I love them. They work great on the blacktop. They work great in the wet. You can tear around in the wet like a madman, right? But they're not going to do what I want them to do reliable in the outback, and I don't want to be changing them all the time. So we've got this one set here. They may go on the Prados or the Hilux or whatever, or other vehicles every now and then to do real education and testing for ourselves that we share with you. What do we call it? R&TU, not R&D, because we're not research and development, we're research and tell you. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you understand what's happening a bit more, and hope it helped you make a decision, you know, which tyres to buy. You know, what have these got? We should measure them. What have they got? About 6 or 7 mil in comparison. Brand new tyres. I mean, these are brand new, but you can tell, it doesn't matter which one's new, they've still got the dots on them, right? So we know they're full tread depth. That doesn't look like much depth to me, that little gap in there. And this is the problem with these sort of tyres. They might have big gaps there, but then they've got these other, see, it steps up, then the water can't get out there. So once these are half worn, 3 or 4 mil, the water can't disperse out the treads. So they're kind of rubbish. They're slicks then. They're good for on-road only. So all tyres, once they get about half worn, they're kind of nowhere near as good as they were when they're new. You can't beat new tyres. New tyres are bloody awesome. Anyway, bada bing. We've done enough. Bada boom. Yeah, we haven't done bada bing, bada boom, all right, for a while. Bada bing, bada boom, all right. We're out of here. Catch you guys. See ya. Subscribe. Turn the bell on. You know, smash that like button. See ya.